In the vast, untamed wilderness of the American West during the mid-19th century, one name echoed through the mountains and plains: Kit Carson. Born in Kentucky in 1809, Kit had left home at 16 to become a mountain man. He trapped, traded, and explored his way across the West, becoming one of the most famous frontiersmen of his time. Despite his reputation for courage and survival skills, Kit's heart held a void that no adventure could fill. That was until a fateful day in 1842 when he rode into the bustling town of Taos, New Mexico. Taos was a melting pot of cultures: Native Americans, Mexicans, and American traders all rubbing shoulders in the dusty streets. As Kit entered a local trading post, his eyes were drawn to a young woman with flowing dark hair and bright, captivating eyes. This was Josefa Jaramillo, the 14-year-old daughter of a prominent Mexican family. "Excuse me, señorita," Kit said, tipping his hat. "I'm looking for some supplies for my next journey. What would you recommend?" Josefa looked at him, not fully understanding. A nearby trader, noticing the confusion, stepped in to help. "He's asking what supplies he should take to the mountains." The trader translated into Spanish. Josefa smiled and replied,
"Bueno, si vas a las montañas, te diría que necesitas buen café y un mapa. Pero lo más importante, necesitas un buen compañero."
Kit, struggling with the Spanish, picked up on the word compañero and laughed. "I think I understood that part," he said with a grin, realizing there was a connection despite the language gap. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, despite the language barrier, both felt a connection that would change their lives forever. As days turned into weeks, Kit found himself visiting the trading post more frequently. Each encounter deepened their bond, despite the challenges they faced. Kit, at 33, was more than twice Josefa's age. He was an American who spoke no Spanish, while Josefa knew no English. And tensions between the US and Mexico were high, yet they found ways to communicate. Kit would gesture wildly, pointing at objects, trying to convey his thoughts and feelings, while Josefa would laugh and correct him, teaching him simple Spanish words. In return, Kit tried to teach her a few English words, but their conversations were often filled with amused misunderstandings and shy smiles. As the sun sank low behind the mountains, casting long shadows over the landscape, Kit stood next to Josefa. The cool breeze carried the earthy sense of pine and dust. Despite the language barrier that hung between them, Kit felt compelled to voice what had been weighing on his heart for weeks. "Josefa," he said, pointing to his heart and then to her, speaking slowly and using the few Spanish words he'd learned. "Corazón. Contigo." He fumbled with more words but gave up, gesturing to the horizon and then back to her, trying to express that with her, his world felt bigger. Josefa, understanding his efforts, smiled softly.
"Yo también,"
she replied in Spanish, stepping closer.
"Pero mi familia?"
She paused, unsure how to explain that her family had other plans for her.
"Elos. Quieren. Alguien más."
Kit, not fully understanding, took her hand gently and shook his head. "No, Josefa. You choose," he said, hoping his meaning was clear. He pointed to her, then gestured as if walking a path. "You deserve your way." Though their words were limited, the emotion in their gestures and the connection they shared bridged the gap. Josefa squeezed his hand, her heart torn between her family's expectations and the growing affection she felt for this American frontiersman. Their budding romance did not go unnoticed in the small town of Taos. Whispers began to circulate, and soon, Josefa's family confronted her. "¿Dónde has estado, Josefa?" her father, Francisco Jaramillo, demanded. "Debes casarte con un hombre que nosotros elijamos, no con un americano errante."
"Pero padre, amo a Kit."
Josefa protested, tears welling in her eyes.
"Es amable y valiente, y me hace sentir viva."
Francisco Jaramillo's face softened slightly, but his voice remained firm. "Puede ser valiente, pero no es uno de los nuestros. No comparte nuestra fe ni nuestra cultural. ¿Cómo puedes construir una vida con un hombre así?" The clash of emotions left Josefa feeling torn and heartbroken. That night, she met Kit under the old oak tree, her heart heavy with despair.
"Kit, mi familia. Quieren que me case con otro hombre,"
she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Kit's jaw clenched, but his voice remained steady. "Then we must show them the strength of our love. I'll speak to your father. I'll prove to him that I'm worthy of you." Determined to win Josefa's family's approval, Kit approached Francisco Jaramillo. It was a tense meeting, with Kit struggling to express himself in broken Spanish. "Señor Jaramillo," Kit began, "I love your daughter. I may not be a rich man or share your background, but I promise to protect her, provide for her, and love her until my dying day." Francisco Jaramillo looked at the frontiersman for a long moment before replying, "And what of your wandering ways, Señor Carson? Can you give them up for my daughter?" Kit straightened his back and said firmly, "For Josefa, I would give up the very air I breathe." Impressed by Kit's sincerity but still hesitant, Francisco Jaramillo set conditions. Kit would have to convert to Catholicism, their faith, and provide a stable home for Josefa in Taos. Kit agreed without hesitation. Over the next months, he began instruction in the Catholic faith and started making plans for a more settled life in Taos. Despite the initial opposition from Josefa's family, Kit and Josefa's love prevailed. In 1843, as Kit's reputation as a frontiersman grew, the couple made a life-changing decision to marry and settle in Taos. "Josefa," Kit said one evening, his eyes glimmering with determination, "I want to make you my wife. I'll do whatever it takes to win your family's approval." Josefa, touched by his commitment, smiled.
My love, as long as we're together, we can overcome any obstacle.
Kit, determined to prove his worth, took steps to gain the family's acceptance. He converted to Catholicism, attending necessary classes and counseling with a priest. His dedication eventually won over Josefa's father, Francisco Jaramillo, a respected merchant who had initially been hesitant due to Kit's lack of formal education. On February 6, 1843, Kit and Josefa were married by the parish priest, Padre Martinez, at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church in Taos. Their padrinos, or sponsors, were Charles Bent's younger brother George and his common-law wife Maria de la Cruz Padilla. After the wedding, Kit bought a house for his new bride in Taos, establishing their home in the community where they had met and fallen in love. In Taos, Kit and Josefa built a life that blended Kit's adventurous spirit with the roots of Josefa's prominent family. However, their life together was often punctuated by long separations due to Kit's work as a guide, soldier, government agent, and courier. Josefa, ever the strong partner, managed their growing household during Kit's frequent absences. She maintained their home on the Little Cimarron River, often spending long periods alone while Kit was away on expeditions. Their home became a hub of cultural exchange, where Kit's frontier experiences merged with Josefa's Hispanic heritage. Despite the challenges of frontier life and Kit's prolonged absences, they found strength in each other and their growing family. As their family expanded, experiencing the joys of raising a large family, Kit and Josefa faced the challenges of 19th century life in Taos together. They weathered political upheavals, including the tragic Taos Revolt of 1847, which claimed the lives of several friends and family members, including Josefa's brother-in-law, Charles Bent. The love between Kit and Josefa endured many hardships, but fate dealt them a devastating blow in 1868. Josefa, who had been Kit's constant companion through years of adventure and challenges, fell ill after giving birth to their 8th child. Despite Kit's best efforts and the care of doctors, Josefa's condition worsened. On April 27, 1868, Josefa passed away, leaving Kit heartbroken. The vibrant woman who had stood by him in every battle of life was gone, and with her, much of his spirit faded. Kit's health rapidly declined after Josefa's death. He had survived countless dangers in the untamed West, but the pain of losing his beloved proved to be a battle he could not win. Just a month later, on May 23, 1868, Kit Carson passed away at the age of 58. As Kit drew his last breath, those by his bedside swore they heard him whisper, "Josefa, my love, I'm coming home." The love story of Kit Carson and Josefa Jaramillo became a legend, whispered around campfires and retold in the saloons of the Old West. Their tale was one of passion that crossed boundaries, of love that overcame obstacles, and of a bond so strong that even death could not truly part them. In the annals of Western history, Kit Carson is remembered as a brave frontiersman, a skilled guide, and a key figure in the expansion of the American West. But to those who knew the truth of his heart, he was remembered as a man who found his greatest adventure in the love he shared with Josefa Jaramillo. Their story is a reminder that true love transcends all barriers, be they age, culture, or even the rugged, untamed landscape of the American West. It serves as a powerful testament to how love can change lives and leave a lasting legacy in history.